For more on this, let's bring in Elizabeth Wydra. She is the president of the Constitutional Accountability Center, a nonprofit think tank. Thanks very much for being with us. So this lawsuit is believed to be the first of its kind since the Supreme Court overturned Roe in June of 2022. What kind of precedent, if at all, could this set?
Well, the ruling itself applies only to the plaintiff in this particular case, and it only applies to Kate Cox and her medical team, her doctor. But I do think it is important because it shows that we are seeing women in these states, and there are about 14 of them that have these extreme abortion bans, have to go to court to make fundamental decisions about their own bodies, about their own health, about their families, about their ability to possibly have children in the future. And so this sets a very strong precedent for people who are looking around and are bewildered after losing the right to choose abortion when the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. So while this particular decision only applies to this particular pregnant woman, I think we might see other pregnant people going to the courts to try to have their ability to make medical decisions for themselves with their families and their doctors, rather than having the state make those decisions for them.
And Texas is likely to appeal. What's your sense of the grounds on which they would do that?
Well, Texas, did not take the ruling lightly. The Attorney General came out with a very harsh response to the ruling, calling out the judge, but also basically making clear that the threat of prosecution still exists for the doctor who would perform this abortion, noting that while the TRO that was granted today, this emergency ruling, limits the ability of the state to prosecute, there still is this, the so-called vigilante law, SB 8, that allows for private citizens to go into court to punish people who are accessing abortion care. And so the state, could follow the legal process forward through appealing to a higher court, although this is a TRO, so there are limits on that. But it makes clear that they are not standing down, even though the court has said that it would be a miscarriage of justice to require this woman who is pregnant and with a child who is almost certainly not going to survive the pregnancy, when she could have serious effects to her health, which would obviously be a huge loss to her family, and it could affect her future fertility as well.
Elizabeth Wydra, president of the Constitutional Accountability Center, thank you so much for being with us.